program was an independent production of the Goshen Jazz Festival, a cultural project of the Goshen Public Library, and is being cablecast as a service to the community's TWC services per the rules and regulations of the New York State Public Service Commission and the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. The viewpoints and opinions expressed within this program do not reflect the viewpoints and opinions of TWC or its affiliates and employees, but are solely those of the producer of this program. Greetings and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ken Tishan, and I am a representative of the Goshen Public Library and the Goshen Jazz Festival. And with me today is Christopher Dean Sullivan, who is the artistic director of the 6th Annual Goshen Jazz Festival. We thank you for joining us for this telecast. We're going to speak to you a little bit about the Willie the Lion Smith Goshen Jazz Festival, the history of it, our plans for this coming's event, and Chris will talk to us about the importance and legacy of jazz, not only in our nation, but also right here in the Hudson Valley. So Chris, let's get started. I'd like to tell the folks that they hopefully will mark their calendars for Saturday, September 12th.
That's right.
Right here in Goshen, New York, which is the county seat. We will have jazz being played in 8 separate venues throughout the village of Goshen. This is a cultural project of the Goshen Public Library. Once again, you can get all of those performers, all of those venues at goshenpubliclibrary.org. The beauty of the Goshen Jazz Festival is that it is free to the public. The organizers have made it firm and made a commitment that arts and culture must be accessible, as is, may I add, this television broadcast. And we thank Access Television for letting us bring this information to you. So now I'd like to introduce formally to you a dear friend of mine, a wonderful artist, and a great advocate for the arts, Mr. Christopher Dean Sullivan. Chris, good morning.
Hey, my pleasure.
It's great to have you. Great to be with you again.
I want to say I really appreciate the fact that the Goshen Public Library decided to take on this project as a cultural project of a program of the library itself here in Goshen. As you know, this whole concept started, many years ago with Vince Hammond, doing jazz in the various clubs with artwork and things of that nature. And then we started talking about it, and then about 10, 12 years later, here comes the Goshen Jazz Festival. And we're going into our 6th year. Now, I've lived in the Hudson Valley for about going on 20 years. And I have to say, I've known of other organizations working at doing a jazz festival, and they might have lasted 2 years. We're going into our 6th.
Yeah.
And there were opponents to me saying that I wanted to do it in the county seat. And I said, the county seat would seem to me that would be the best place to do it, in the county seat. And again, for those opponents, 6 years.
Yeah, share with the viewers as well, I believe it was in 2003, can you talk a little bit about the proclamation date?
Actually the first year, which is when it started, Edward Diana, the county executive,
yes.
Because the fact that Willie the Lion was born right here in Goshen, and the county executive made a proclamation that during that particular weekend, which is the second weekend
in September, yes,
that would be Willie the Lion Smith Day. That Saturday, the second, I guess it's the second Saturday of September.
Generally, it's right in that area.
Yeah, right in that area, right, like the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th type thing.
Right.
And, so it would be, that particular Saturday would be Willie the Lion Smith Day. And so for that, and even in our brochures in the past, has always been, that proclamation has always been set there. So of course we appreciate Mr. Diana, you know, for setting that date for one of Goshen's native sons.
Yes, yes.
You know,
An interesting point, and we're going to ask Chris to talk about this a little bit further. I myself am also an Orange County native, and I know many of our viewers have been in the area for quite a long time, some for generations. An amazing thing has happened with the arts in Orange County over, I would say, the last 15 or 20 years. Some by virtue of people moving up from the metropolitan area, but also with the comeuppance and the stardom, let's say, of Bethel Woods, the redefining of the collegiate arts that go on. New Paltz and Marist and Mount St. Mary's and Orange County Community College do some incredible work. So we're really happy that being in the county seat, that we have central location, and what helps the Goshen Jazz Festival, and I'll be underscoring this a lot throughout our telecast, without these sponsors and these venues.
oh yes,
As we all know, the economic times have been quite difficult, and that holds true for the arts as well as everybody else. Many of our sponsors over the years, who have been very, very kind to us, wrote us beautiful letters
Yes, they did.
and said, Ken, Chris, Vince, not this year. We simply can't justify the costs. And as a result, we do not have a main stage performer this year, but those things will get better as the economy comes back and grants are available again.
yes,
So the places that I mentioned prior and the people that will be having these performers in their venues, to us is a godsend.
oh yes. I mean, they put themselves in a position where it's about the village, and this is a testament to what happens when we work together as a village. You know, and because of the venues, we have a 6th annual festival this year. And even though it's about going around, we've even been able to add on 2 more venues, which is the Art Studio, where Peggy Stern will be performing.
Yes.
And of course, Big Dave's Barbecue, BBQ, that just opened up, and he wanted to come on board immediately.
Yes.
You know, so it turned out to be much bigger than what we expected for this year.
Right.
And that's again because of it takes a village attitude. And the whole idea is to bring that attitude back into play. I mean, Orange County's population is growing. A lot of new people coming up from New York City or Connecticut or, you know, other big cities. There's a lot of folks that are moving up here now every year. And that being the case, you know, it's why not put something together that they've been used to in the bigger cities. And they definitely want to stay here. They'd much rather stay here for their entertainment services, or to be entertained, I should say, and to be able to basically be in a community that's going to look out for their children, a school district that's going to be conducive to their children's education. You know, not to say that the education here is better than the one in the bigger cities. However, you definitely get there's less of an issue, especially after school and things of that nature, that the big cities, in a lot of cases, you know, the kids can become deterred. You know,
Sure.
Up in an area such as Orange County, the children can become more artistically astute, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know,
That's one of the things that we'd like to share with you, our viewing audience. And Chris and I talk about this all the time. Chris and I do lots of arts and education work, and you're constantly in search of your audience, and you're constantly looking to build tomorrow's audience. An interesting thing this year, by adding Art and Soul Studio with Lori McBride and
Yes.
Joanne Kelly, these are professional artists. It has a family orientation to it. Lori teaches artwork to children, and Joanne teaches photography and artwork to children. So what a great way to go into that venue
oh yes,
on
yes.
Jazz Fest Day, be exposed to the music,